I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's subject is yoga for being, spirit. First day we saw yoga for body, next day yoga for visualization, third day yoga for mind, today yoga for spirit, being. Of course, today we are going to have one more session from 9 to 11, prescription for peace of mind. That will be the gist of all these 4 sessions and something more than that. In that you will be listening about how we perceive things and how we process information inside our system, how we decide where we go wrong, where we miss the reality, where we miss the existence, how we miss the bliss. We'll see about that in the prescription for peace of mind. Along with Dr. Murali Krishna, I'll be presenting between 9 to 11. Now, yoga for spirit, being. As a being, the being level, you don't need any separate meditation or yoga. All our yoga or meditation is to reach that level. That's all. If you can experience that level or stay in that level, you don't need any meditation or yoga. The aim of the yoga is reaching the level of being or the spirit. First thing, what do I mean by the word being or spirit? Let's analyze. Let's analyze what do I mean by the word being. In Sanskrit we call Atman. You can translate it in a very superficial way as consciousness. Consciousness is not equivalent or exact translation of Atman, but we have no other way. We have to use the word consciousness. Soul is much poor word. Consciousness is at least a little better than soul. So I am using the word consciousness. Actually, being cannot be expressed by a single word. You can say what is not being and make people understand what is being. But you can't pinpoint and say what is being, because whatever you can pinpoint is only related to mind. You can't say anything about the being because it is something beyond mind. It is something above your intellect, above your it is something beyond your logic. Again and again, our masters declare it is beyond the body, beyond the pranamaya, beyond the manomaya, beyond the vijnanamaya, the different sheets, different koshas. You have 5 bodies according to our Upanishads, are the 5 part of your being. First thing, physical body, which you are having, made out of flesh and bones, you know. Next thing, the pranic body, all the prana movement which is happening inside your system, inhaling, exhaling, all the other prana movements in your system. Third thing, your inner chattering, that is called manomaya. Fourth thing, the deep sleep state, what they call vijnanamaya, which you experience at the time of deep sleep. Fifth thing, anandamaya, of course, which you experience very rarely when your mind is totally in peace, when your mind is totally in silence. It is very rare people experience this Anandamaya Kosha. It's like if you are continuously asking for something, for example a sweet, particular sweet, continuously you are thinking about it. You want to have it. You are working for it. Suddenly one day you get that sweet. When you put that in your mouth, the restlessness which you had for that sweet, or continuous thinking which you had for that sweet, it disappears, it comes down. Your mind becomes a little calm for a few moments. That few moments you experience Anandamaya Kosha. You experience the joy which is from your being. But unfortunately, your mind starts thinking that joy is from the sweet. Then you start running behind it. You think if you create a same situation or a same atmosphere, you will be able to experience the same joy. If that is the case, continuously the sweet must give you the same joy. But it is not giving. 4 sweets, okay. 5th, it's all right. 6th, you say, I think no, too much. 7th, you try to escape from it. If it is from the sweet, it must only continue or grow. If it is from particular space or particular situation, it must continue or grow. But it is not our experience. Sometimes you go to the beach, you feel sudden peace, calmness in your mind. If you think, oh, the beach is associated with peace and calmness, try to go every day, what you start experiencing? You will sit there and start your regular worries. That's what I always tell people. It is not the outer space which decides. It is the inner space which decides. The person who can't create the inner space of bliss can never have vacation. You may try your best to change the outer place, to try to have vacation. You may try all your best, all possible way. But finally, you will end up only in the changing the place. You will never have changing the space. It's like understand this one example. If you are sitting in the office and worrying, it is work. If you are sitting in the house and worrying, it is homework. If you are sitting in beach and worrying, it is vacation. That's all. That's all we know. We don't know anything else. When you try to associate peace or bliss with the outer space or the outer situation, outer things, you try to repeat the same thing. But you will not have the same calmness, same joy, same peace, same ananda from that space, from that thing again and again. If you somehow learn the technique or manage to tune yourself with your being and open the Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss space, continuously you will be able to stay in that space. Continuously staying in that space is what I call Nithyananda, the eternal bliss. Eternal bliss. That is what I call the state of being. You exist in three levels: being, having, and doing. Some people exist only in the level of doing, workaholics. They can't relax. The moment they relax from the work, they feel that they are not needed. Even if they don't get money, they will not be able to relax from that work. Many people I have seen, they take up some social service just because they can't keep quiet. Please understand, if you take up social service or serving others just because you can't keep quiet, you will only damage the society than helping. You will be only creating more misery. Unless you are totally in tune with yourself, how do you think you can help others? You can serve others. Many times I discourage people from serving. Usually, when you take up serving, usually people take up serving others just because they can't keep quiet. The first side effect will be ego. My name should be displayed. I should be given priority. This should be my place. This is the way I'll do. First side effect of doing service just because you can't keep quiet is ego, which is more dangerous. There's a beautiful Zen saying, even if a master kills somebody, it will do good to that person. Ordinary egoistic person, even if he serves others, it will do only disturbance to others. It is the quality of your being which decides whether you are going to do good or bad to the society, to the humanity. If you take up any service just because you can't keep quiet, just because of your workaholic attitude, be very clear, neither you will be peaceful nor others will be peaceful. I have seen many so-called social service, so people who are doing social service are social service institutions. Actually, the social service organizations are the root cause for all the troubles. They create trouble so that they will have their job. They just wait. Otherwise, they feel they are not needed. Please don't do any service just because you can't keep quiet. Let all the service be outcome of bliss and joy. Then you will never expect any other result. It's a beautiful story. Bodhidharma goes to China. There, he was received by the king of China in the border. The king is very devoted to Buddhism. He has built thousands of monasteries. He has translated all Buddhist scriptures to Chinese language. And he has done all possible things to spread Buddhism. He is standing in the border and receiving the Bodhidharma. After receiving Bodhidharma, he asks, Buddha, please tell me, I have done so much of service to Buddhism. What will I get after death? What is the reward for me? Because I have done so much of service. It's a wonderful story. He says, I have asked so many Buddhist monks. They told me that I will reach the seventh heaven. But I wanted to listen from you. What will I get after my death? What will be the reward for me for all this service? Bodhidharma is a very honest man. Very honest man. Straight away he says, he doesn't even bother that he is a king of this country. He says, I can be sure of one thing, you will reach only seventh hell. They was totally shaken. The king was totally shaken. He said, what are you talking? I have done so much for Buddhism. How can you say that I will reach seventh hell? Bodhidharma makes a beautiful statement. If you have really done the service, the very service itself is a reward. If you have really done this out of your joy and bliss, from your being, the very service itself is a reward. You have done from your doing. Just because you can't keep quiet. Your whole personality is centered on doing. Our personalities will be centered in three levels. Either it will be centered in being level, or having level, or doing level. Person who is centered in doing level, he is in hell. There is one more beautiful statement Bodhidharma makes. Don't think you will do some sins and then reach hell. You are doing sins because you are in hell. You will never hurt others. You will never be violent with others if you are happy, peaceful within yourself. You will do sinful acts. You will do wrong things because you are in hell. Very doing wrong things shows that we are in hell. Very doing right things shows that we are in heaven. Don't think you will do some sinful acts then go to hell. You are in hell because of that you do sinful acts. Don't think you will do some good things and then reach heaven. No. You do good things because you are in heaven. The very mood with which you do the activities, that is heaven or hell. Heaven or hell is not geographical, it is psychological. It's not geographical. Don't think you will reach somewhere. No. Bodhidharma explains beautifully. All your service, all your action is out of doing, not out of your being. Because you can't keep quiet, you have to do something. You are rajasic, restless. Just you wanted to show you are some way great. Whatever you take up, you do it in a very big way. Why do you think these so-called religious people install tall structures? It is not to show the greatness of God, it is to show the greatness of themselves. Big kings erecting tall structures. Why? It is to show that they are great. Not even God is great. I have seen in India some temples are called Birla temple. I was just shocked. Why should Birla have a temple? Why should Birla have a temple? It's for God we make temples. But when you erect temples just to show your greatness, the temple will be named only after you, not after God. It is out of restlessness, just to show that whatever you do it in a grand way. Whatever you do it in a big way. When you do the service just out of restlessness, out of doing, it will create only hell for others and for you. That's the first thing. Next thing, not only service, anything you do out of doing, anything you do out of restlessness will create only more confusion, more questions within yourself. I have seen many people coming and asking me, Swamiji, somehow I don't believe in my profession. How can I practice it? What am I supposed to do? I feel I am not in the right place. I feel I am misplaced. Deep misery, deep agony is their being. Then how can they do anything perfectly? How can they do anything totally? I have at least 600 American doctors as our healers. We have 2,000 healers all over the world serving the society through 400 centers. Average 20,000 people are touched by our healers every day. This statistic record says every day average 20,000 people are touched by our healers. I have more than 600 healers for American doctors. I have seen many doctors coming and asking me, Swamiji, somehow I feel I am not in the right place, or I am not doing what I feel. What can I do? How can I do? What should I do? How to go about? Understand, it is not important what you are doing. It is important how your being is. Whether you practice this profession or any other profession, if your being is not tuned with yourself, you will feel the same restlessness. Don't think by changing profession or by changing house or by changing wife, you can come out of this problem. No. Only by changing the inner space, we can come out of this problem. We can feel more in tune. The next level, people who are centered on having, this another one kind of restlessness. Continuously acquiring things but never enjoying. Continuously acquiring things but never living or enjoying them. I have seen people continuously they acquire. When you are sitting in an ordinary car, you think of SUV. When you are in SUV, you think of Mercedes. When you are in Mercedes, you think of Rolls Royce. By the time you get the Rolls Royce, you think of helicopter. Something continuously you are postponing. Continuously we run behind having, but not living, but not enjoying. The persons who are centered in the level of I, they are centered in the level of doing, just for the sake of ego. The persons who are centered on having, they are centered in the level of mind. I and mine. I is continuously doing, mine is continuously having. Continuously you try to expand your boundary. Continuously we try to change the outside things. Continuously we wanted to expand our boundary. I have seen people, if they have 5 acres, they will be standing near the boundary and try to expand the boundary little more. Suddenly, by fortune, some way if their boundaries, if they are given 500 acres, again they will be standing near the fence and try to push the boundary just few inches, just 3-4 feet. Whether it is 5 acre or 500 acre, these people are going to stay only near boundary. They are bound to be near boundary. They can't stay inside the home happily. Continuously pushing the boundary. Continuously trying to expand the boundary. These kind of personalities are based on having. They will feel happy. They will feel secure. They will feel relaxed only when they continuously possess more and more and more things. Deep feeling of insecurity, the fear, is what makes you to have more greed and continuously trying to possess things. Continuously possessing things is nothing but deep insecurity feeling. If you penetrate your being little deeply, we can understand it is nothing but feeling deeply insecure. All our possessions, the idea of possessing continuously more and more things is just because of fear, just because of feeling of insecurity. We think, let this be with us, let this be with us. You feel your boundary is more. You feel if you have more things, you will not be taken away from this world. We usually feel if we have more friends, more relatives, more things around us, we feel we are secure. We will not be taken away. There is a beautiful sloka in Mahabharata. Dharmaraja is a hero of the Mahabharata. He was questioned by a demigod. Beautiful question. Kimascharyam itapparam. What is the great surprise in the planet Earth, in this universe? What's the greatest surprise which you are seeing in the universe? Dharma beautifully answers. Aganyagani bhutani gacchantiha yamamandiram seshastiramischandi kimascharyam itapparam. The running translation goes, every day we are seeing so many beings reaching the abode of Yama. Aganyagani bhutani gacchantiha yamamandiram. Every day we are seeing so many beings reaching the Yama's abode, the Lord of Death's house. But even after seeing, we feel that we are going to be here eternally. We are going to be here eternally. We are going to be here forever. We never think, our being never feels that we are also going to leave. Continuously we are seeing. For a few minutes we feel, especially for doctors, after a few times, we just become insensitive to the whole concept. Or we just take it for granted. We don't think, we don't look, we don't prepare ourselves consciously for the whole life and death. We don't look the whole event. We don't look both sides. Either you try to forget yourself through greed, means expanding your boundary, or you try to forget yourself because of the fear. Of course, the fear also ends in expanding the boundary. We try to hide, we try to forget all these things by continuously expanding the boundary. Whether you stay in the level of doing or in the level of having, unless you reach the level of being, you will not be able to relax. You will not be able to experience what is really life. Actually, a person who is born blind, you can never make him understand what he is missing. Can you make him understand what he is missing? No. Same way, the person who has not experienced the ecstasy of being, the bliss of being, we can't explain to him what he is missing, what he is just not having. By not entering into the space of being, what we are missing can never be explained or expressed by words. That is the reason, again and again and again, our rishis, our masters insist on reaching the state of being. In India, this is a basic lesson. The moment a person reaches the age of 7, the first lesson given to him is how to connect yourself into your being. How to connect yourself to your being. The first lesson taught to anybody is how to stay in your being level. The Gayatri mantra is a straight technique to reach the being level. Of course, the Gayatri mantra is no way related to any ritual, any puja or any worship. It is a straight technique to make you fall in tune with the being, to make you fall in tune with your consciousness. The meaning of the mantra itself says, let me meditate on the energy which awakens consciousness in me. Let that consciousness help me to meditate on it. That's all. Nowhere it says about any devata, any god, any ritual, anything. It's a straight technique to tune yourself into that being level. When I use the word being, I mean the thoughtless awareness. You are doing or having These two are like a zeros. Unless there is a being, these zeros have no value. Only when you achieve your being, these zeros will have value. If you don't have the being, what can you enjoy? You can only just jump from one place to another, one space to another. You can just move. We are almost living like a ghost. We are living like ghosts. Our body is there. We are moving. Something is happening. We are there. But the being, the feeling of homeliness is missing. The first day, somebody asked me, Swamiji, what do you mean by the word you achieved enlightenment? Throw us a little light. Educate us about it. Who asked? Is the person is here? Who put that question? First day somebody asked me, educate us about enlightenment. How did you have that experience? What do you mean by the word enlightenment? I told him, I'll speak about it after a few days. I'll speak about it when I speak about the spirit, the being. See, enlightenment doesn't mean that you became extraordinary or you became something like a superhuman or you became some way superlative. No. By enlightenment, you achieve one thing, a deep, homely feeling, deeply rooted, centered in your being. You will feel a deep relaxation. You have come home. You are in your space. There is no other supernatural powers or there is no other supernatural things associated with enlightenment. Having some supernatural power is no way related to enlightenment. Please understand. Some powers may express through enlightened person, that is different. But the powers are not criteria. Just doing some magic or a miracle is no way related to enlightenment. If magic or a miracle is the criteria for enlightenment or saintlyhood, P.C. Sarkar is the greatest saint. He does all possible magics, all possible miracles, which nobody can explain. So magic or supernatural things are not the real criteria of enlightenment. Enlightenment is a deep feeling or deep settledness or a total relaxation which happens inside your being. When you know your being, when you feel in tune with your being, or when you experience your energy, you achieve the state of enlightenment. Let me tell you an incident which happened in my life. At the age of 10, I was taken to a great master, Annamalai Swamigal. He was there in my native place, Thiruvannamalai. As a small boy, I was taken to him. Usually, in India, the parents, they force the kids and take them to these Swamis and all these temples. I was also taken by force. He was talking to a group of Westerners. He was talking that we are not body, we are not disturbed, we will not have any pain or suffering, we are beyond pains, we are beyond suffering, all these high, great Vedantic ideas. He was talking. When I heard that first thing, I felt surprised. I was surprised. How can this be true? When my mom beats, I feel the pain. Of course, in India, kids will be beaten by parents. When my mother beats me, I feel the pain. When my teacher fires me, I feel the suffering. How can he say this statement? I went to the house and I wanted to experiment, test what he said. I took a knife and tried to cut myself. I cut my thigh to see whether I have pain or not. Of course, I had pain. I was taken to the doctor. They put the stitching and first aid, everything. They have done everything. After a few days, I went to that Swami again. I asked him, what is this? What did you teach? I went and cut myself. Why did you say all these things that we don't have pain and we don't have suffering? I went and tested it on myself. That Swami made a beautiful statement. Don't worry, my son. Do the small meditation technique. When time comes, you will understand what I said. Now you may not have understood. But when time comes, you will understand, realize what I said. Do this meditation. He taught me a simple technique of searching the source of your thoughts. Just start searching the source of your thoughts. So I said, all right, now you are teaching me the meditation, it's okay. But what about the pain which I am having? What about the suffering which I am having? Now I will do this meditation. This you could have told me earlier itself. What about the suffering? He told me the beautiful statement. Don't bother about this suffering. The courage to experiment the truth which you have is more than enough. That will liberate you. These one or two small mistakes, these small things, don't bother about it. It is worth doing. Or these troubles are worth facing. The courage to experiment with the truth, that's the greatest thing anybody can have. You have that. That is enough. That will guide you. That will lead you to the ultimate experience or to the end of the life. Of course, that one statement, the courage to experiment with the truth, that one statement gave me the courage to experiment with all these truths. To reach the being level, we need only one thing, the courage to experiment with the truths, the courage to go behind the truth wherever it leads us, not just as a time passing. Most of the time, all these higher ideals are just time passing for us. I have seen people coming and asking me, Swamiji, tell me something about God, how to realize, how to achieve the spirituality. I tell them, please be seated, let's stop. They say, no, I have to go for bus urgently. Just tell me something within 10 minutes. I have only 10 more minutes. So you can't have instant coffee. If it is superficial, if it is very shallow, it will be only time pass and entertainment. I have seen, actually once a person came to me and he asked me, Swamiji, please teach me how to achieve God, how to reach the enlightenment. Please teach me. I did not answer. I just started talking something else. I just started talking to him. How are you? You are from where? What you are doing? How many kids you have? What your wife is doing? I started talking all these things. And he started answering. Then conversation turned towards other side. After that, he spent 3 hours with me. He did not even raise that question again. He forgot the whole question. Then understand how sincere the very question is. Just the time pass. Casual question. Just because you got somebody. Put some question, that's all. If he answers, okay. If he doesn't, well and good. Which is not sincere or the real problem. People tell me, Swamiji, many times I think I should ask this question, that question. I come with all preparation, but when I come in front of you, I forget all the questions. If you say this, be very clear, your questions are not worth answering. They are just casual. If they are real questions, how can you forget them? They will haunt you in your dreams, in your sleep, in your day. They will be continuously haunting you. If they are real questions, they will be continuously haunting you. If they are superficial, naturally, you will forget. The questions should become quest. Only when the questions become quest, you will be able to grow towards the higher consciousness. Only then you can reach the flowering of your being, what I call your consciousness or spirit. Take this only one message with you. Have the courage to experiment with the truth. Whatever you think as truth, you don't have to go for searching the highest ultimate truth. You can't say, let me first know the ultimate truth, then I will try to experiment with it. No. You will not know which is ultimate truth when you start. Whatever you think as truth, try to experiment with it. Have the courage to experiment the truth. That's the one and only way to reach the being. There is no other way. There is no other method. There is no other technique. No meditation technique will help than this one statement. Having courage to experiment with the truth. Actually, even with meditation, you will experiment. You will do meditation technique only when you have the courage to experiment the truth. Meditation is also the truth which you heard. Only if you have the courage, you will experiment with it. Otherwise, what will you do? Oh, 2 days, the Swami spoke really nicely. He's a good orator. Or you'll say, even though he looks very young, he's a good speaker. I have seen many people, after the discourse, they will come near and tell me, Swamiji, you speak so beautifully. You have spoken such great things. I just catch them. Tell me what I spoke. I just catch them. Tell me what I spoke. They say, no, don't ask that. You spoke very nicely. You are really a great person. I have never seen such a great discourses. I have never heard such a great discourses. I have never seen such a great person. You spoke really nice way. Please understand. If people are coming and telling after the discourse that I spoke beautifully, means they have not heard what I spoke. They are just sitting and preparing what they should come and tell me after the discourse. They are just preparing in the mind. What should I tell? You see, you praise others just to get others' attention. Let's be very clear. We just praise others to get the attention of others, or expecting that they will also praise us. We just have to be too polite. We can't say directly, please praise me. We have to be a little diplomatic. We have to be a little polite. So naturally we have to use little courteous words, good words towards others, so that they will tell, oh, you are really a great person, very good person, you have such nice words for others, you are such a beautiful person. We throw good words towards others expecting that we will get them back. We will get them back. Please be very clear. Don't prepare words. I have seen usually people, when they sit and listen, either they will be preparing the words which is against what I am uttering, arguing with themselves. No, I don't think this is truth. I don't think this is right. Or they will start believing and start coining the words, how to praise me. By doing both, you are missing what is said. Please understand, if you are against, if you are continuously questioning, you are missing the truth which is expressed. If you are trying to praise, if you are trying to create words to praise me or to accept, again you are missing what is expressed. Both the way you are missing. That's why I tell people, whether you have negative attitude or positive attitude, both the way you are missing. What you need is not faith or doubt. What you need is courage to experiment with the truth. Just have little courage. I always tell people, the so-called believers or the so-called religious people are the most cunning people. I have seen many different kinds of people. atheists will be more honest and straightforward. In my experience, I tell you, atheists, non-believers, they will be more honest. They are more straightforward. If they don't feel, they are very clear, straight. They don't care for anybody. But the so-called believers, believing out of fear or greed, without having the courage to go behind the truth, I call only these people as believers. Believing just out of fear or greed, without having the courage to experiment with the truth. This type of believers, they will be, first thing, they will be hypocrites. Next thing, egoistic. They will design all cunning methods to escape from the truth. They will have everything except truth. What we really need to reach our being is the courage to experiment with the truths. Vivekananda says beautifully, instead of reading libraries, volumes and volumes of books, just have the courage to experiment with simple 2-3 concepts. Take 2-3 concepts, have courage to experiment with them. That's enough. Instead of reading volumes and volumes, instead of making yourself a great intellectual, just by reading without having the courage to experiment with the truths will make only our head more heavy. Because you accumulate too much in the head. If you eat and don't digest, what will we do? We will vomit on others. Same way, if you read and don't have the courage to experiment, you will catch people and start vomiting on them. Whatever we read, we will start vomiting on others. We will catch people and by force we will vomit on others. Understand, all we need is only one thing. If you forget everything else, whatever I have spoken on these 4 days, it's okay. Carry this one line as a message. Courage to experiment with the truth, what you think as truth. Whatever you think as the truth of life, have courage to experiment with it. Whatever you know as the truth, just have the courage to play with it, to experiment with that truth. Let's pray to the ultimate energy, the divine cosmic intelligence, cosmic energy. Let it give all of us the courage to experiment with the truth and eternal bliss. Nithyananda. Thank you. We'll take few minutes for your question answers to analyze these concepts through questions and internalize. We have a few more minutes. You can put any questions related to this subject which I spoke today. By analyzing it, we can internalize it. We will have meditation in the next session. Between 10 to 11, we will be having one more session here. Actually, 9 to 10, Dr. Murali Krishna will be presenting. 10 to 11, I will be presenting one more session, prescriptions for the peace of mind. Prescription for the peace of mind. In that session, we will do a meditation technique. Now, for next few minutes, we will have question and answer. Yes.
Could you, Swamiji, tell something about Sarupa Samadhi?
Oh, that's nice. Too big word. In Patanjali, there are different kinds of samadhis explained. Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This Swarupa Samadhi word is used in 4 places. Let me give you the brief explanation where all this Swarupa Samadhi's word is used. If you meditate on some Rupa of God and just become one with it, You don't have any other thought except that form. You reach the state of Swarupa Samadhi. In Swarupa Samadhi, there are few, I can say, types. There are few types of Swarupa Samadhis. You became part of that energy, or you became one with that energy. This is called, in Sanskrit they say beautifully, Sarupya Samadhi, Sayujya Samadhi, or Salokya Samadhi, Samipya Samadhi. Salokya means, for example, if you are meditating on Vishnu, if you are given the state, or if you are given the place in Vishnu Loka, it is called Salokya. If you are given the nearness, it is called Samipya. If you are given his own form, it is called Sarupya. If you just become one with him, it is called Sayujya. Of course, these are deeper levels. There is no need for us to do research on all these things. Just follow any one method, simply you will reach the goal. Instead of analyzing too much about the goal, if we work on the path, that will be really helpful for us. Next.
You talked about experiment the truth. What are your suggestions for dealing with the truth?
Dealing with the truth is what I call experimenting with the truth. First thing, we are not so matured to deal with the truth directly. Always we need buffer springs. In the car, we have buffer springs so that we will not have the shock of the roads. The shock of the road will not be felt by us. We have a buffer spring. Just like that in the life also, continuously we keep buffers. The fantasies are the buffers. Hopes are the buffer spring. Continuously we keep ourselves away from the truth. We don't directly face the truth face to face. We don't deal the truth face to face. We say, no, this is, today it may be like this, but tomorrow it will change. Day after tomorrow, it will change. Only kids need time to dream. Kids need lot of time to dream to cope up with the reality. Even after becoming a mature person, still, if you have the habit of dreaming to cope up with reality, please be very clear, we are childish. We are not childlike, childish. I use the word matured person to a person who can directly deal with the reality, who can directly deal with the truth without having fantasies or hopes. If you can, if you are matured enough to face the truth as it is without trying to give the sugar coat or without trying to postpone, no, tomorrow things will change. No, after some time things will change. I think there is some hope. If you are continuously postponing with your fantasies and hopes, we are immature people. Maturity is nothing but the ability to face the truth as it is, to deal the truth as it is, without any hopes, without any fantasies. See, continuously people fantasize about heaven just because they are not able to face the truth of the present moment. Just because you are not happy with the present moment, the reality, the truth of this moment, you fantasize, no, I'll have heaven, I'll have this, I'll have that. No. The ability to face, the ability to respond spontaneously is what I call responsibility. If you can respond spontaneously to this moment without having any buffer between you and the truth, you are a responsible person. Only then we can be called as matured person. Maturity is nowhere related to 21 years. It is somewhere related to our being. how much we are able to respond spontaneously to the present moment, how much we are able to respond to the truth as it is, without having our own hopes, without having our own fantasies. So, whether you accept or not, whether you want it or not, you have to deal with the truth. Am I right? You have to deal. So deal with more mature consciousness. Why to deal grudging, grumbling? Or why try to escape from it? Just face it. Directly start living with it. And one more thing. Truth is like a diamond. It will polish you. It will mold you. It will make you a different person. It will transform you. I always tell people, whenever you feel insecure or totally shaken, facing the truth, some reality, some incidents which happens in your life, if it shakes your being, allow the shaking to happen. Let the truth shake you. Let the truth penetrate you. It will transform you. Truth is always intelligence. The truth will give you enough intelligence and energy to face the life. Only thing, when you try to protect yourself, when you carry some shield to escape from the truth, then you miss the whole thing. Then you miss the whole thing. If you hide yourself through some entertainment programs, some way turning yourself away from the reality, then you missed the whole thing. Whenever your being is depressed, whenever you face low mood, face it. Don't escape from it. If you try to escape through some entertainment, partying or drinking or TV or some media or magazine or some way, continuously it will be running behind you. The depression will not leave you. It is waiting. It will chase you. When you sit with yourself, it will come up. Don't try to escape from your being. Whatever is, whether it is guilt, low mood, or a depression, whatever is reality, face it. Let's see who else can face. If you are not ready to face your being, if you don't want to be with your being, nobody else will want to be with you. So be very clear. Only when you face the reality of your being, you will be able to be with yourself. So you have to face, you have to deal the reality. You have to see the truth. Whether today or tomorrow, the earlier you see, better for yourself.
All of these are steps, or what I call steps, or exercises, just like you do physical exercises to strengthen the body. Yogic discipline, yogic exercises are primarily meant to provide you the means or the techniques to take you to that state of connectedness, to that state of bliss or ananda, which I'm not giving a discourse, by the way, I'm just stating my question with a few things. I just wanted some clarification. To help us achieve that level. So these are the various disciplines. Now we have so many different schools, like Swamiji, you pointed out there are so many masters that we search for, come across. Sometimes things will work, sometimes things don't work. And we take all of these different experiences. My question in simple words is, are all of these different paths meant to take you to that same state of awareness or bliss or connectedness? And is that the main purpose of all of these yogic disciplines, meditation techniques, etc.? The second thing that I wanted to ask you, if I can get your permission, is to also explain the state of connectedness and the levels of consciousness in terms of waking consciousness, sleeping consciousness, because you mentioned this in the very first lecture about the dreams and the projections and of the energies. In terms of waking consciousness, sleeping consciousness, dreamless sleep, and and because you mentioned something about that today, and how these four states of consciousness are symbolically expressed in the Omkara Shabdam. That is my question.
Actually, two big questions. But the beauty is he is able to repeat it exactly. Usually, when I ask people to repeat the question, they just forget. Two big questions, especially about these four states. In the next session, I'll speak about these four states. About these four states, I'll speak about it in the next session. The first question which you asked, are these steps to put us in the bliss? They are not steps actually, they are techniques. When you use the word steps, it's like you do them and then reach the bliss. But when I say the word technique, I mean by doing it itself it will put you in the bliss. Not that you will do, master it, then reach the bliss. No. Very doing will put you in the bliss. It's like the earth will open and you will fall into the bliss. Not that you will walk and reach the bliss, just the earth will open and you will dissolve into the bliss. That's why I say these are techniques. Patanjali uses the right word, Ashtanga Yoga. Not 8 steps of yoga, 8 parts of yoga. Anga means parts, not steps. Always, almost all translations, they say 8 steps to yoga. The Sanskrit and English translation, there they miss the whole thing. It is not 8 steps to yoga, it is 8 parts of yoga, Anga. So these things are also techniques. They are not steps. They straight away put you into the bliss. That's the first thing. One more thing you asked about, we see many masters and many techniques. Are they all helping us to reach the same bliss? Here I have to say honestly, I don't know. I know only one thing about what I am speaking, are the techniques which I am giving. I do not know, I have not experimented with all the systems, with all the techniques. Of course, there are so many masters, so many techniques. Anything which suits you, which suits your system, you can follow it. How to find out whether it suits you or not? Something beyond your intellect will happen. You will feel connected. Just like something has happened in you, you will feel connected. People ask me, Swamiji, should I accept you as Guru? Should I remember you continuously? Should I meditate on you? I tell them, never do that mistake. If I am your master, you can't forget me. Simply you will not be able to forget me. I will be there in your dreams, I will be there in your sleeping time, I will be there in your mind continuously. You will not be able to get me out of your consciousness. You will not be able to do anything. Simply you will see that continuously you are remembering me. The remembering or the accepting master or following a system, all these things should happen, should never be done. All you can do is try to have the courage to experiment with the truth. Try to experiment with some techniques or something which you think as truth. Do that much is enough. That much is enough. More than this, everything should happen. If you do it, it will not be having the same result. It will not be beautiful like it's happening. The other things, the higher things should happen. So just search, continue to search. At some point, with somebody, something will click. You will feel deeply connected and you will simply feel that he is the person for you. You will simply follow him. Something will say from your being, beyond your intellect. That's the right, he is the right person, that's the right technique for you. Till then, whatever you think as truth, whatever you know as truth, according to your logic, work with it. Just try to experiment with it. Go behind the logic, you will end in intuition. Actually, intuition is not something against the intellect. It is the peak of intellect. You will use your intellect as much as possible. You will put your intellect to the maximum use, and automatically you will experience the space beyond intellect, what I call intuition. I think it is time for us to leave, because around 9 o'clock in the same classroom we have the next session. So thank you. Let's gather for next session. Thank you.